So welcome for our online training sessions. In our previous session, we have discussed about the enterprise structure configuration and how we can go for configure the enterprise structure. This is our enterprise structure, right? Generally, functional consultants will be configuring this enterprise structure setup. Enterprise division, legislative data group, and legal entities. These things will be configured by human capital management consultant most of the times. And ledger will be configured by the financial functional consultant and of course business units also. And inventory organization, sub inventories, and locations and items. Those things will be configured by supply chain management functional consultant. Okay. But still, even though we should have like where do we configure all this and which table this information is saved. Mainly the tables are important for the technical consultant, especially which table will find legal entity information, which table will find business units information, which table will find ledger information. This is very important. Okay. So as I said, the comparison between the EBS and Oracle Fusion Applications enterprise structure. In EBS, we used to call it as a multi-org structure. What is EBS? E-Business Suite. It's one of the Oracle applications ERP product, which is on premises, which is there in the market from 1996, which is one of the competitor for SAP ERP. And after having some long credibility with the clients, Oracle has came to know that nowadays the clients are looking for cloud, digital, and mobility and analytics, as well as the processing capability and also integration with the social sites. That's why Oracle has designed another cloud ERP called Fusion Applications. It is one of the cloud ERP, which is next generation ERP product. If you are from EBS background, you can compare EBS multi-org structure. In EBS, we call it as a multi-org structure. EBS multi-org structure with our Fusion Applications enterprise structure. Just name is changed, not more than that. And in the enterprise structure, we can find these are the different organizations. Here we can see enterprise and division top of the level in the enterprise structure hierarchy. And here we call it as a business group. Here legislative data group. Ledgers are common and it will be same. And legal entities, as we discussed in our previous session, it's an organization where the client has established their company. We call it as legal entity same. Here operating unit and business units. And the remaining steps are common. Inventories, sub inventories are common in EBS and all. Okay. This is very rare case. Sometimes in the interviews, they will expect, do you have any idea about EBS? So if you are from EBS background, or if you are going to specify this EBS in your profile, then we should have some basic idea about the EBS. Otherwise, if we are going to apply purely Oracle Cloud Fusion Consultant, we don't need to worry about this. Okay. Now I'm going to show you where do we configure this enterprise structure. There are two ways we can configure enterprise structure. One is by using ESC, Enterprise Structure Configurator. By using this ESC, we can configure. Another one is a manual process. When I say manual, one by one organization we have to define, and then we have to go for configure this or define the relationship between the organizations. It means first we'll define enterprise, within that LDCs, ledgers, legal entity, business units, and other objects we are going to create. I'll show you both the options in this session. How to configure an enterprise structure by using ESC in the front end, and how to set up this organizations manually by using in the front end FSM environment. Then we will look into the tables of this particular organizations. As a technical consultant, just theoretically we require, so we don't need to worry about each and every field or each and every feature which is available in these setups, because that's a purely functional job. But still, what we need is we need the tables where the information is saved. Okay, we can by heart 4 to 5 tables. There are 4 to 5 tables. We can easily go for by heart the tables. But if you find out, okay, where do we create ledger? While creating ledger, what information we are going to enter? And if we see that information practically in the tables by writing select statement, then that will make us more perfect and confident. Then we can speak confidently in front of the interviewer and we can also work in the organization when we are working in the projects. Okay, let's log into the applications here. Once we log into applications, we'll go to FSM environment. We are already in FSM environment and go to the task here, establish. As we discussed, we can have the implementation project here. In implementation project, we'll be able to configure this enterprise setup, or we can do it from here also. Both are same. There won't be any difference. We can use either implementation project or it is just like a shortcut option. Okay, go to the task here, establish enterprise structures. Now, if we look at here, there are 4 enterprise structures available here. There are 4 enterprise structures are available, but we can go for configure only one enterprise structure. When we are working in the projects in the real time, we don't find these many enterprise structures over there. We'll find only one enterprise structure, which is loaded status, which is loaded status. We don't find any other enterprise structure like this not loaded, as this is a vision instance which is given by Oracle for our students for practice purpose. That's why everyone has created their own enterprise structure, but not loaded. You are not able to load it. See, if you look at the status of this particular enterprise structure, it is not loaded status. Only one enterprise structure is loaded. What is the meaning of loaded and not loaded? Okay, whenever we are going to configure an enterprise structure, we are going to define a hierarchy. What is the enterprise? Within that, divisions, legal entity, business unit, reference data sets, and locations, right? So this hierarchy should be validated and verified, and then finally it has to go for commit. Okay, during this validation or verification, if there are any issues, system will show us this enterprise structure cannot be loaded. That error message will get. How to validate is, there is a button here right side. If you look at right now, this button is disabled. Load enterprise configuration button is disabled because already one enterprise structure is loaded. So what we have to do, we have to go ahead with existing enterprise, whatever is loaded. Okay, whatever the enterprise structure is loaded, that we have to use as it is. Okay. Right now, I'm going to show you how to create an enterprise structure, but we cannot load it. We cannot load, just will show that how to create an enterprise structure. Loading is just click the button, it will validate. If there are any issues, then it's going to be uploaded. So I'm going to mention that it is Heritage Corporation. Heritage Corporation. And primary industry, I'm going to say that they are into some healthcare and social assistance industry, headquarters in United States, and legally their name is Heritage Corporation. Identification number here, the registration number, and legal address we are going to have here. The legal address is this. Let's go for create. I'm going to specify the enterprise details here. It's there at a enterprise level. Legal information also we are going to specify. So first we are going to configure an enterprise. We'll be interacting with the client and we are going to configure this information. Here we, in the sense, functional consultant. That also senior level functional consultant, because enterprise structure setup is one-time configuration. It's not like we'll configure today, after 6 months if there are any changes, okay, we'll go for make some changes. System will allow to make some changes in the structure, but configuration of enterprise structure is the base. for the entire implementation of this ERP product. That's why senior level functional consultants are going to involve and interact with the business units and configure the requirements over here according to the current business scenarios. Okay, so now what we have done is we created an enterprise and we wanted to go for multiple legal entities. If we look at our enterprise structure, this setup I have done successfully. There will be only one enterprise. We cannot create multiple enterprises. There will be only one enterprise. In our language, if we speak, what is the enterprise? Enterprise is nothing but a top level organization where the organization is going to have the complete employment. It's a headquarters. We can call it as a headquarters. Okay. Now click next button. After the enterprise, what are the organizations we have to define? Divisions. But divisions are optional. It's not mandatory. Right now, we are not going to have any feature regarding divisions in Fusion applications. Maybe in future, Oracle can configure some functionality about the divisions, but it's okay. We can have some divisions here right now. So I'm just going to have this division here. I'm just having two divisions here, India and USA. Let's go for I'm going to specify the division here. Two divisions we have created. Division is nothing but area of the business. Area of the business. Now click next button. After the divisions, what we will be defining? Legal entities. After the division, legal entities are going to be created. Here, we are going to create legal entity. So legal entity is nothing but an organization where the client has registered their company. For example, if client is having business in India, US and UK, three countries, it means three companies they have registered. One is in India, another one is in US, another one is in UK. So three legal entities we are supposed to configure here. Heritage India Private Limited and Heritage US Corporation. So we are going to create. This is how we will go for enable the legal entities according to our requirement. This legal entity identification numbers, registration numbers, and reporting unit registration numbers. This all will be provided by our client that we have to just gather from them and go for configure here and click next button. And after configuration of the legal entity, we are going to create a business unit. We are going to create a business unit. So what is business unit? Business unit is nothing but an organization where the client is doing main business operations like sales, procurement, payables, receivables, cash management. These all operations wherever is happening, we call it as a business unit. In our general language, we call it as a branch. Every company will have either one business unit or multiple business units. So that we are going to create. So I'm going to create three business units over here and associate with our legal entity. Now click next button. And now here we can find the business units and which are associated with this country and locations. Whatever the country location we have specified, we can find the business unit code and name. If we want to change, we can change, otherwise not required. And we have to go for assign the reference data set. This is very important. Reference data set is basically to assign some objects to our business units. When I say objects like payment terms, supplier sites, customer profile, we don't need actually much information about this. But reference data set, important question in the interviews. They'll ask us like, what is RDS? RDS stands for reference data set. Why it is required? Whenever we want to group some objects and assign to the business units, we will use reference data set. So what is the advantage? Why you are grouping these objects? The advantage is very simple. Let's say I have 20 business units and I want to assign one department to all these 20 business units. Let's say department name is finance. What I have to do? 20 times we have to assign. Instead of that, you can assign your finance department to the common set. What happened? It will automatically assign to all the business units your department. So no need to assign your department to every BU. Like that, there are some 40 to 50 objects available in Fusion applications like department. We'll be using those those objects and assign to the business units. Click next button. Excuse me. And we are going to assign our reference data set to the business unit. We are assigning reference data set to the business unit. Nothing but we are assigning the departments, jobs, locations, and other set to the business unit. That's what we are trying to perform. Click next button. Now I'm going to assign the reference data set to the locations also, but it's not mandatory. You can just select this options because location wise we don't do the security. Generally business unit wise only we can do the setup. So now we can find the enterprise name. Divisions are optional, but still we have created a couple of divisions. Then we have created legal entities, and then we have created business units, and then we got reference data sets over here. These are the objects we have configured over here. These are the objects, and we can find same information here graphically. Here text information. Here we can find graphical information. No, this is just graph information. It will show it us, not more than that. We can find first enterprise division. Within the division, we are going to find the legal entities and other options. Let's go for save and close. So what we have done here, we have configured an enterprise structure and we have created successfully. Here, what is the enterprise structure name? Heritage Corporation. Have we loaded it? No, it's not loaded. The status of this enterprise structure is not loaded. How we can load it? There is an option here. This button we have to click. Right now it is disabled because already one enterprise structure is loaded. Right now, whatever the information we have created, it's not validated, it's not loaded into the base tables. It's okay, no problem. It is not an issue. Even if it is not loaded, we don't need to worry about because that's a purely functional job. But we should have an idea, okay, how the enterprise structure can be configured like this. There are two options. As I said, enterprise structure will be configured by using ESC. ESC stands for Enterprise Structure Configurator. It is one of the wizard or it is one of the tool. This is what ESC. Whatever we have done right now, this is what ESC. This is what the ESC. This is what ESC, Enterprise Structure Configurator. But anyway, we are not going to use that options here, right? So we just created this. So why Oracle has given this option? Most of the times when we are working, this will not be used by the functional guys because we can't configure the entire enterprise structure here. lot of options we need to enable and disable and provide a lot of features for every organization. But then why this option is given by Oracle is when Oracle consultant, when sales representative goes to in front of the client, he can proudly say that we have developed one cloud ERP where we can configure your entire enterprise structure within 10-15 minutes. You might be having simple or medium or complex enterprise structure hierarchy, but still I can configure in 10-15 minutes and I can establish your entire enterprise structure. You can start doing the transactions. That's what we can say proudly in front of the customers. So that option we are providing to the customers, but customers' requirement will be different. They wanted to have the customization. They wanted to have some other setups. Then manually we have to do. So that option obviously it will be there. Manually we have to go for create one by one enterprise, one by one organization we are supposed to create. Okay. So we have seen right now enterprise structure configured successfully. We have seen enterprise structure by using ESC. Now manually I'm going to show you where do we find the enterprise details. We'll go to the task here. Manage enterprise HCM information. That is the task name. Manage enterprise HCM information. Now this is the name of the enterprise which is already loaded into the applications. There will be only one enterprise. If at all we want to make some changes, we can do it from here. Correction means it will overwrite the record. Update means it will disable existing record and create a new record into the database tables here. Okay. And if at all we want to delete the record, we can go for delete. But generally in the cloud environment, no records will be deleted. We'll just go for disable the record if at all we are not ready to continue with that record. And history button will show what was the enterprise details initially. Then after that, what changes are done and what are the details that we can find out here. Okay. So this is the task name where we can find name of the enterprise. So after the enterprise, what is the next organization? Divisions. Here we can find the divisions. Divisions task name is manage divisions task. Manage divisions. Here only we have if I want to create a new division, we can go for create here. So I'm going to create a new division here. Heritage US division. So whatever the divisions we have created in our ESC cannot be loaded directly into the base tables. That's why you don't find here because we have not loaded, right? That's why we don't find here. I'm creating manually. While creating the division, system is not going to ask me your division comes under which enterprise. Because there will be only one enterprise. We don't find multiple enterprises. There will be always only one enterprise. We don't find multiple enterprises. Right. That's why the moment when you create a division, automatically it goes to the enterprise. Automatically it goes to the enterprise. Now click next button. Here you can search for division, whatever we have created. This heritage division, US division we have created. Next, within the divisions, we are going to have the legal entities. Now I'll show you how to create a legal entity. Go to the task, manage legal entities. Manage legal entity. It's very common requirement whenever we are developing the reports. displaying the legal entity name on top of the report output. Legal entity means company name and company address. It means legal address. So it's very common. Any sales order report, invoice report, pay slips, everywhere, obviously that output is required, right? So that is our responsibility. Write a query, pick the legal entity name and pick the legal address details and generate the output in a PDF format or Excel. So go to select a scope option. What is the meaning of this scope? It's very simple. If you want to create a legal entity, we require one task. If you want to search for existing legal entity, we require another task. What Oracle says, instead of going for two tasks, I'm providing both the options here only. Go to scope and select and add. If you want to work with existing legal entity, go for this option. You want to create a new legal entity, you can go for this. So whenever you select the scope here, next time when you are performing the setups here, no need to go for select or search again. It will save our valuable time when we are doing the setups. That's the reason Oracle has provided this scope option, otherwise nothing else. Okay, this will be helpful for the functional consultants. Now I'm just going to create a legal entity. Now go for click new option. Which country your client business has been established? United States. And here it is, legal entity, legal identification number. Let's say company has started in 1951. That's the start date. And legal address is this. And place of registration is in New York. And tax identification numbers, legal registration number, save it. Here two important checkboxes we have. Legal entity is nothing but we are telling that it's a registered company, nothing but an office. Legal entity is nothing but a registered office, it's nothing but a company here, right? Then what is legal employer? If you enable your legal entity as legal employer, then you can hire employees. Otherwise, we cannot hire employees. Otherwise, we cannot hire an employees. If you enable this checkbox, then it will become as a legal employer where we can hire employees. When we hire an employees, we must pay the salaries to them. Then we have to enable this another checkbox called PSU, payroll statutory unit. If we enable these two checkboxes for our legal entity, then only we will be able to hire employees. Then only we will be able to pay the salaries for those employees. Okay, so the difference between the legal entity and the legal employer is very simple. Legal entity means it's a registered office. In that office, if you are hiring employees, then it will become as a legal employer. For these employees, you want to pay the salaries from this company only, or you want to pay the salaries from some other company. Maybe some large enterprises will have some companies, they just maintain the employees, but salaries will be paid from some other another legal entity. So that also can be associated here. But right now I'm just making it as a legal employer and as well as PSU, because we don't need in depth of that level for technical consultant. So we have created legal entity, we made it as a legal employer and also PSU. This is how we will go for creation of a legal entity. Save and close. Okay. Now we will see this table. We have not seen the tables for enterprise. We have not seen the tables for divisions, because very rare case we will use these tables. Maximum no. Mainly legal entity tables, business unit tables, ledger tables only we are going to work. Okay. Now we are going to see the legal entity tables. Front end. Front end we have seen. Now we are going to see in the back end which table this information is stored. Because when you want to search, we'll go to the scope here, select and add, apply and go to task, search for your legal entity. Excuse me. We are able to get our legal entity. It means The moment when we enter and save and close, this information is saved into the database table in the backend. And when we go for search, that information has been retrieved from the database tables into our front end. Now I wanted to see this information is stored in which tables. In which tables this information has been saved. I just wanted to check here. So these are the tables we have. HR related tables we have. Now we are going for HR all operating units. Let me just go for writing the table. We can write table from here. Let's go to navigator. Go to tools menu and go to security console. Sorry, not security console, reports and analytics. When we want to connect to the database, when we are working with the Fusion applications, the only one place is reports and analytics. We have to go to tools menu, reports and analytics. There we can go for connect to the database. Go to navigator. Let's go to tools menu, reports and analytics. Click on this reports and analytics. Go to reports and analytics here. Take some time. So a little bit slow is there, but not much. Fine. Click on browse catalog. It will open separate window. Here we are entering into the BI environment. Now I just wanted to write a simple query to retrieve the legal entities information. To retrieve the legal entities information. For this, we are going to use organizations table. So once we enter into this BI report environment, go to create menu, data model. In the data model, generally we'll go for write the queries. We'll be connecting to the database and writing the queries here. Go to SQL query. And I'm just mentioning it's a testing of organization details. Select data source. I'm selecting it is, we can choose HCM or finance supply chain management or CRM because enterprise structure is common for any domain. I'm just selecting financials and supply chain management. Select star from the table name HR all organization units underscore F. This is the table contains organizations information. We can find what type of organization this is and organization, your business group ID, legal entity ID, organization ID. We'll find all the information. In case if the location is there, location ID also we can find. Go to the data. And we can find top 5 records or 10 records. Let's go to view. Now it's going to show the information about this. Okay. So I just wanted to have the organization details which we have created recently. Recently, whatever we have created. So what we have to do, we have to write another where clause. Order by clause, order by creation date, descending order. Order by creation date, descending order. We are going to get the information here. In the descending order, we can find the details here, right? So this is records. These are the records we have created here. This is your legal entity organization code, which is created by so and so date. So when we are working with Fusion applications, in the database tables, there are 5 who columns we will find in every table. What are those? Created by creation date, last updated by, last update date, last update login. There are 5 who columns. Created by means which user has created this. Creation date means when this record has been created. Recently, who has updated this record and what time this record has been updated. And last update login. This we don't find in every table, only in main tables, in the sense the base tables of the enterprise structure will find, not in the transactions tables. Mainly who columns are nothing but a 4 columns will find. What are those 4 columns? Created by, creation date, last updated by, and last update date. 4 fields will find. Okay, so here we can find our organization code, means our legal entity details. Legal entity details we can find. Legal entity code is there here. Okay, so if I want to know what records I have created or someone else has created, we can find that information by writing this created by equal to so and so user ID. Created by equal to so and so user ID. So what is the legal entity here? This is what our legal entity. This is what our legal entity we can find here. Okay, and take this legal entity here, legal entity ID. This is, and I require legal entity name. Actually, we don't have here name. We have only legal entity code. Organization code is there. I don't have organization name. If we required organization name, then we have to use this another table, HR of organization units underscore F underscore TL. Underscore TL we have to add. What is underscore TL? Translation language. It is a translation language. Translation means all the languages, not only English, other language data also can be stored in these tables. Whenever you find any table which is going to end with underscore TL, then that table is translation table, which will be used to store multi-language data also. Why this is given by Oracle for us? Because some organizations wants to maintain their business data in the regional languages. In the regional languages. When they want to maintain that information in the regional language, then we have to give that access to the table functionality, multi-language support functionality we have to provide here. Okay, so now let's go for this and check our records. We'll find legal entity name. Right now we are going to enter English only. That's why we don't find much, differentiation here. Much differentiation we can find. See how many times it is showing legal entity. Number of times, because language is there, right? Language column. This. That's why whenever we are using underscore TL in our query, we are supposed to write one filter condition where language is equal to US. US is nothing but American English. If you don't write this particular filter condition, nothing but a where clause, then we don't find the unique record, we'll find duplicate records. Because for every language, one record will be inside. Right. That's why we have to maintain language equal to US. Language equal to US and go for data. Now I am able to find only one record and we'll see the legal entity name also here. Now table view. Heritage legal entity, right? This is our heritage legal entity. There is one more record. It seems we did here this by using ESC. By using ESC we have created, right? Enterprise structure. That's the reason. And another one is division. This is the table which contains division details also. Okay. And this is what our legal entity information. This is what our legal entity information. Okay. Now this is your legal entity ID. Copy this. This is our legal entity ID. We can find here. Yes. Okay. So whenever we are working with our Fusion applications, if you are going to use underscore TL, we will find multiple records, duplicate. Then we have to write filter condition where language is equal to US. Where language is equal to US. Okay. So this is the table which will be used to get our legal entity information. In fact, divisions details also will find in the same table. Business units data also will find here. Now I'm going to show you next organization. Let's go to our enterprise structure. What is after legal entity? What we have done here, we created one legal entity in the front end. We have saved the record successfully. And then when we connected to the database and we have written a select statement and we have retrieved the data from database table into our result. Okay. Same thing we are going to do the business units. What is business unit? Business unit is nothing but an organization where the client is doing main business operations. Within the legal entity, we'll go for create either one business unit or multiple business units. What I'm going to do is I'm creating two business units. One is in New York, another one is in California, and assign these two business units to our legal entity. Okay, let's go back to our front end application. Go to front end. What I'm trying to do, two business units I'm going to create. Let's go to FSM environment here. Setup and maintenance. Now go to the task manage business unit. Heritage unit, New York business unit. And then location, we can choose any location, the BU location. I'm just taking somewhere else in Redwood City, and common reference data set I'm going to add here. So one business unit I have created. I'm going to create one more business unit. Nothing but one more branch. Two business units I'm going to create. Again, open the task. Create one more business unit. Heritage, California business. Save and close. We created two business units here, and we are going to assign these two business units to the legal entities. Now we'll go to the task here, assign business unit, business function. Yeah. Now it is showing the task is not there because this all setups will be done in financials. But right now you are in compensation management. Go to financials. So before that, create a ledger. Let me write sequence of steps so that it will be clear for you. First, what we have done, we have created two business units. Next, second, create a ledger, attach our legal entity to the ledger. Otherwise, we cannot assign business unit to the ledger. Sorry, legal entity. Next step, what we are going to do, we are going to attach our business units to the legal entity here. So before we go for attach our branches to the company, first our company should be assigned to the ledger. Okay, so that we have missed out. Let me do that first. So what is ledger? Ledger is nothing but a financial accounting transaction format. When the organizations are doing some accounting entries day to day, they are supposed to enter their currency, calendar, chart of accounts, and compliance method. Okay. For example, every company will have some expenditure, right? Let's say organization is paying today $1,500. They are paying rent, building rent, office rent they are paying, and they are paying this on which date? Today is 14th March 2023. They are paying to so and so building owner, and they, let's say, they are issuing the check. They are going to release the check. Okay. So here we are going to capture the currency. We are going to capture the account, expense account. In the expense, this is expenditure for the organization. In the expenditure also, there are different types of expenditures: rent expenditure, electricity bill, salary expenditure, miscellaneous expenses, transportation charges, taxes, lot of other things will come. So it comes under rent. It's a rent account. And this is what calendar. Calendar is nothing but a date. And this is the payment method, how you are going to issue the amount to your supplier. They are providing the building, right? Services, infrastructure we are using. So what we are doing here, currency, calendar, nothing but a date. Then we are going to take the account. Then we are going to take the account. And then we are going to take standard accrual method, compliance method. Compliance method we are going to take. So when you combine all these four, it will become as a primary ledger. There are different types of ledgers like primary ledger, secondary ledger, sub-ledger, reporting ledger. Financial functional consultant will go to configure all this. But as a technical consultant, we just need how to create one ledger, which table this information will be saved. I'm just showing you how to create a table here by writing this. Let's go to the task here. Here it is, ledger. Chart of account, I'm going to use US chart of accounts. Calendar, I'm using accounting calendar. Currency, I'm using US dollar. And compliance method, I'm using standard method of check payments. This is how we will go for create a ledger. Once the ledger is created, I wanted to search whether it's created or not. Open the task. Enter your ledger name here. Press enter. Then we will get press enter. Press enter key will find the result. Here itself we can find ledger ID. Some of the columns we can find here. Maybe the columns might be hide due to the space not availability. If we need those columns, we can go to view menu columns and click this option. We'll get it. Okay, so this is how we can go for create a ledger. Now our company should be assigned to the ledger. Company should be assigned to the ledger. I'm going to do that now. Here only we have assign the legal entity. We are already in another ledger. Let's change that. We are in Sony ledger. Let's change this option. Go for select and add. I'm not creating the ledger. I'm searching for the ledger. That's why I have selected. What is your ledger name? Here it is. Save. Here we have a ledger. Ledger is the top level. Within the ledger, we can have either one legal entity or multiple legal entities. Now we are going to specify here. Here it is. Click done button. And we'll go for save this record. Let's go for save and close. This is how we can go for assign our legal entity to the ledger. Next. Now we are going to attach our business units, whatever we have created, to our legal entity. Okay. So what is the task name? Assign business unit business function is the task name which we will be using to assign business unit to the legal entity. Okay, assign business unit, business function. First select your BU. There are two business units, New York and California, means two branches. I'm going to select the first branch here. Here it is, California business unit. This is our business unit. And here I'm going to assign this business unit to the legal entity. And search for the legal entity. This is how we have to assign. So what is the hierarchy? Business unit will be assigned to the legal entity. Legal entity will be assigned to the ledger. So top level is a ledger. Within the ledger, legal entities. Within the legal entities, we are going to have the business units. That's the hierarchy. One BU we have assigned successfully to our company. I'm going to assign another business unit, New York. So go to again this same task, but we have to change the scope. We are already in the scope of California. Click on this, change from California business unit to New York business unit. Now we are in New York business unit. Let's assign this business unit to the legal entity. Search for the legal entity and ledger, which is already assigned here. And go for save and close. So this is how we will go for associate our business units to the legal entities. So we created first business unit, then we assigned business unit to the legal entity. And we also created a ledger and assigned our legal entity to the ledger. Okay. First, I will show you the ledger table. We'll check the ledger table. What is the table name for ledgers? GL underscore ledgers. That is the table name. First, we'll see whether that ledger, whatever we have created, is exist in the table or not. So let me copy. I'll prepare a separate note file for this here to remember very easily. I'll save this file and attach with the video. Now we are going to write select star from GL underscore ledgers, order by creation date, descending order. Or we can go for use the name ledger name as heritage. If we know exactly ledger name, we can directly write filtering condition over here. This is our ledger, which is created. Heritage ledger. What is the column name? Description. Here I can see that description. This is short name ID, and this is the ledger ID we have. And currency we can find here. And other information we have. Segment 1, standard accruals. Which user has created, current user and date of the creation date. And this is the ledger. Okay. If for example, we know first starting 3 letters You can write where class, where name like HER percentage. After HER percentage, whatever the text we have later, that will be able to get it here. And go for table view. Now I can find this. Right. This is the ledger ID to get any other values based on. In case if you are using this table for join, we'll use this primary. Right. So this is how to get the ledgers information. We can get it. Yes. Next, I wanted to have business units information. Same table we will use for business units also. Where language is equal to US. And I just wanted to write and name also. Otherwise, first we'll search. So these are the list of business units are available, but I wanted to go with descending order, or otherwise we'll write one more. And created by, what is your login name? My login name is Sony_, that is my username. Write one more where clause, and we'll come to know what are the business units are created by this user. There are two business units, right? And I can find that information. Yeah. But I can see that here multiple records because there are legal entities. In the same table, I can find legal entities, and I can find business units in the same table, and I can find the divisions also in this table. I can find the divisions also in this table. These are the organization IDs. These are organization IDs. Here we can find. Okay. So this is our organization ID. There is another table which will show us the classification of your business units or divisions, whatever it is. If you want to comment this, we can use this slash star mark and slash this. I'm writing select star from HR org unit classifications underscore F. So what is that? Enterprise or inventory or cost center or PSU? What type of that classification? So I want to see what are the different types of classification codes we have. Then we will be able to find here the details. We can find those details here. Legislation code, set ID, and other options we have, right? And if I go for data, you can see those records. Classification code. Select classification code from the table name. You can find the data here. You can find all organization details. Here. This is organization code. Is it enterprise or is it division or is it department or inventory? We'll find that all details, right? Here it is. Or is it business unit or this one? Okay. So now what I'm going to do is, this is going to give the classification code. Now let's see. This is organization ID. What is our this business unit, right? Is legal entity. Now let's take business. These two are business units, California and New York, right? And this is our business unit. where organization ID in what system is showing? It is a business unit. It is a business unit. Both are business units. Okay. So whenever you find any organization ID, you want to know whether that is a business unit or whether it is a enterprise, because all details are in the same table, right? Then we have to use the classification table. If you use the classification table, then it is going to show us the information here, whether it is a business unit or PSU or what type of business unit this is. Okay, so this is how we can find the table names. Now we have got the enterprise table, divisions table, legal entity table, business units table, and ledger tables. All the organization tables we have come across. Okay, so this is what actually our job, writing the queries and remembering these table names and start writing queries under. Okay, so front end, whatever we have configured here, this is just for our functionality wise. So you can just have one record. Even if you don't create from the front end, it's not a problem because it's not our job. But when we are writing the queries, I just wanted to show you the result exactly. Instead of just by heading, okay, this is what built-in business unit available in the table. This is what legal entity is available table. Instead of that, we just had a sample record in the front end, and then in the back end database tables we have. Okay. So this is how we will go for create front end enterprise structure organizations, and back end exactly how we can query the data. Okay. Thank you.